Hi, I'm a Japanese language student and I've been living in Japan for almost a year now. I wanted to share my story here, hoping it'll help me figure out what to do next. I met someone special at a cafe. Honestly, I'm not sure what made me do it, but I decided to approach her and ask if she spoke English. She said yes, just a little, but honestly, she speaks pretty well. I could have started speaking in Japanese, but I thought English might help break the ice, and it did. There was an instant connection. We talked about how she's learning English through Netflix, my Japanese skills, and I asked if I could sit down, which she agreed to. We started chatting about what I was studying, where I'm from, and to my surprise, she knew a lot about my country. I also know a lot about Japan, so she was impressed too, and the vibe was great. After nearly an hour, we exchanged line contacts and we said goodbye without talking about meeting again. But as soon as I got on the train, I couldn't wait to message her, telling her how much I enjoyed meeting her and hoping we could grab coffee again sometime. It was the first time I'd approached a girl in real life in Japan, as I'd always used apps like Bumble or Tinder. Although it hadn't gone terribly, I'd never met anyone I wanted to meet again. Most of the people I went out with weren't looking for the same thing, so there wasn't a strong connection. Anyway, a few days passed, and we kept talking almost every day. She was busy, so it took almost 2 weeks for us to meet again. I had lost hope, but in the end, we met. We went for lunch at around 12 p.m. to a famous Mexican restaurant in Shibuya, and honestly, we had a great Sunday. After lunch, we walked around Harajuku. As it started getting dark, we decided to have dinner, and then went our separate ways. But the connection was still very strong. We kept meeting more often, and naturally, after almost 2.5 months of knowing each other, the conversation came up about how we enjoyed spending time together. She asked if I was seeing other girls or had interest in anyone else, and I told her no, that I enjoyed spending time with her and wanted to keep getting to know her. That conversation led to me telling her I'd like her to be my girlfriend, which she immediately agreed to, and honestly, it was a very special evening and night. I live in a guest house in Shinjuku as a student, and I can't bring guests. Even if I sneak them in, the walls are so thin that you can hear everything, even breathing. It's not the best place for privacy, and I know I don't have many options to spend more time alone with her. She currently lives with her parents. She used to live alone, but decided to move back in with them to focus on her personal project. She worked at a well-known HR company in Japan, but she told me she suffered a lot from anxiety because she didn't like the work environment or the direction of her career. So she decided to take time off and focus on her passion, illustration. It's been several months since we met, and we've been in a relationship for almost 5 months. The thing is, I'm leaving Japan in a month and a half. My visa is expiring, and I'm not enrolled in school, so I can't extend my student year. My Japanese is at N3 or N4 level, and I feel ready to enter the job market in Japanese. But I haven't had much luck with interviews, and time is running out. Honestly, if I had started job hunting earlier, it would have been easier. So I have no choice but to buy my return ticket to Germany. During this time, the idea of getting married in Japan came up. It wouldn't be immediate, but I could go back to Germany, prepare the paperwork, get married there or in Japan, and then apply for a visa. I did some research, and it seems that it's quite easy and common. I mentioned the idea to my family, but I didn't get much support or excitement. Of course, I'm happy with the idea. I understand that marriage is a serious commitment, but I also believe that sometimes you have to take risks in life to be happy. If marriage allows us to spend more time together and explore our relationship, then of course I'd do it. The problem is we don't live together and we'd need to move into an apartment. She's focused on her personal project, but she doesn't have a full-time job, so she would have to look for something. Also, her parents don't know about the idea yet. She told me that if she decides to marry me, they will support her, but everything needs to be presented properly. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed because I'm not 100% sure or happy with this decision yet. Although I want to spend more time with her, it's difficult because of everything marriage entails and immigration laws. I'm afraid I'm rushing due to those rules. Also, one time, the topic of kids came up. She started talking about names for our children, and I was pretty surprised because we'd only been dating for 2 months. This made me think maybe she's already thinking about the future very quickly and planning a family soon. We are only 28 and 27, so I'd think we should enjoy a bit more just ourselves. At least 5 years, but of course, I didn't mention that to her. Another thing that worried me was when we talked about living together. She's not looking for a small apartment like I thought, but rather looking at 2 or 3 bedroom apartments. That made me think maybe she's envisioning a more serious future than I had considered. Honestly, I don't know what to do. I'm afraid that if I don't take the opportunity to marry her, she'll leave me. Although she hasn't said it, that's what I feel could happen. I'm also considering the option of going back to Germany, working there, saving up a bit, and then coming back to Japan. But that idea didn't appeal to her much. She said that's not real love, and if it were true love, I would do everything to be with her. I still have a month and a half to figure things out. My gut tells me that whatever happens, it will be fine. I don't know if I should stay in Japan as a tourist and survive as best I can, or go back to Germany and then return to get married and start the visa process, or find a job in Germany and see what happens with the long-distance relationship. Anyway, my head is a mess. I hope I can figure it out soon.